What's up, nerds? Welcome to Rarely Sophisticated. I am your host, John Carter, and joining me today is our boy, Ryan Bredeweg. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody? This is take 2 because John fucked up the first one.
Yeah, I yelled into the microphone and nearly bled everybody's eardrums in the whole tri-state area.
No, I think it was just your own. Mine was fine.
Oh, well, I probably had my headphones turned way too high, but you know what? It is what it is. So welcome to episode 9 of the Rarely Sophisticated podcast. So glad to have everybody here. Those of you who have stuck with us from the beginning here, really appreciate everything. Looking forward to doing episode 10 next week. I'm honestly glad that we made it this far. I'm glad that we haven't fizzled out.
Absolutely.
Ryan is currently engrossed in his phone.
TikTok. No, it's actually not TikTok right now. I was watching game highlights from the Oregon game.
Oh, nice. We'll talk about that here in a bit. First, let's knock it out with our current events. We will start off with football. The big news is that Aaron Rodgers is back to practice and apparently working in the ticket office.
How awesome would it be to call the Jets to get tickets and then be transferred to Aaron Rodgers?
Welcome to the Jets season ticket hotline. One moment, please.
And then get free tickets from Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, yeah. He's like, hey, let me hook you up with some tickets.
Yeah, he's like, I got some spares.
Yeah, so why aren't you coming out to games? You haven't been to games since game 1. Miraculously, the game that he also, got hurt in.
I mean, that's the only game I'd go to, too.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're just like, you've already bought the season tickets and you're like, well, I'm fucking stuck with them. Might as well use them. Nobody's going to buy them from me.
Sell them to the other team's fans.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess you could, or you could give them away to an organization, as a donation, and then just write it off for taxes.
Or you can make money off of them, sell them to the other team's fans.
Yeah. Be part of the problem that is Ticketmaster.
StubHub, SeatGeek.
Yeah, SeatGeek.
That's where I think me and bought our tickets when we went to the Colts game. So
okay.
It worked. It was good.
Awesome. He is, however, designated out for this Sunday, and he has 21 days before he can get activated. And of course, if he's not activated, then he has to go back on the IR for the rest of the season. Do you think that they will end up activating him not this week, probably not next week, but the week after?
Why are you stealing my takes? I don't know. I want to see him play this year.
I would love to see him play at least one game.
I don't care if it's just for a quarter. I want to see he can do it.
Yeah, because I obviously I don't think he's going to retire at the end of this year unless he hurts himself again. But knowing Aaron Rodgers, he's going to give it his all just to make sure that people still know that he has it.
I don't care for his reasons either. Everybody's saying he's doing this for self-indulgence and all the fame of him doing it. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? He's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to go out there. He's going to probably throw a few tutties, probably going to make some miraculous throw that only Aaron Rodgers could ever make, like threading the needle.
Well, and he's taken an injury that takes anywhere from 11 months to 2 years, and he's done it in 60, 70 days.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, he hasn't done anything in regards to experimental therapy or anything like that with stem cells or any of that nonsense. He's done it completely natural.
Yeah, the Achilles factory out there in California, I think is where they call the Achilles factory out there.
Is it just a rehab or?
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's girlfriend works there.
Okay.
I only know that because Schwarzenegger was on Pat McAfee the other day, and he said his girlfriend worked at the rehab Rodgers was going to.
My name is Detective John Kimball. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want them answered immediately. Who is your daddy, and what does he do? Kindergarten Cop, motherfucker.
It's been so long since I've seen Kindergarten Cop.
Boys have a penis. Girls have a vagina. Not in 2023, they don't.
They still do.
Yeah. So, yep, that's kind of the big football news. I think you have some injury report stuff to...
And nothing real special. Aaron Jones obviously is out this week. The big one really for the Steelers is Minkah Fitzpatrick's expected to suit up, and he hasn't played for a month.
That's exciting.
So that'll be good for them. Big news is Footsteps Flacco's probably going to suit up for the Browns.
Footsteps Flacco?
Since DTR's out Sunday.
Oh, man.
So that'll be interesting to talk about.
Some fancy footwork from old Footsie Flacco.
They can't look much worse.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of getting on up there in age.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
But he did win a Super Bowl, so that's all that matters.
You know what? No argument there. All right, now on to some NBA news. They have finally decided who's going to be playing in the knockout rounds for the in-season championship. Looks like for the quarterfinals, your first round, you're going to see The Lakers playing who's the Valley? Because they've got their City Connect jerseys on this bracket, and I was not fucking prepared for this shit.
You're asking the wrong person about who the hell the Valley is. I was like, is it a high school team they're playing? The Lakers might win. We'll see.
In this corner, we have the Los Angeles Lakers, and in the other corner, we have Average Joe's Gym.
I'd watch it. Well, I think they should do that anyway. Let's be honest. Everybody gives professional football players, basketball players, any kind of professional sports athlete, they give crap. But let's put a whole team of average Joes out there playing against, you could just have LeBron out there and then just 4 other guys with him versus a whole team of average Joes, just for perspective.
I honestly, okay, so I only know this, let me preface this. I only know this because I keep track of, God damn it.
What do you keep track of? Come on.
Yeah, what do I keep track of?
You're the one that brought it up.
I did. Ryan Reynolds and the guy that does Mac from Always Sunny.
No idea.
So they own a
soccer team.
Rexit FC.
Wrexham, but close.
Wrexham, yeah. Rectum FC.
Still close.
Still close. And so I learned that the way that they actually structure their leagues is that every year they take the standings and reshuffle everybody into different divisions so that they're playing like closer.
And I got a question. How long ago did you learn this? Because I don't watch soccer, but I've known this for a long time. And if you're as big of a Pat McAfee fan as you say you are, they time out. They talk to JJ Watt every week about JJ Watt's soccer team, which is what's its name? I'm awful with names. So anyway,
who's awful with names now, bitch?
At least JJ Watt's team is going to get relegated if they don't win this weekend. Like, they're in the relegation stage. But yes, they've relegated people to Premier League and then lower leagues for a long time.
I would love to see that happen with, like, maybe now that the XFL and the USFL have merged.
Absolutely not. I think some of the players in those 2 leagues will be special teamers, maybe some depth.
Lots of practice squad guys.
Yeah, but like, I don't think that would ever happen. A, too much money in the NFL. B, you could take the Arizona Cardinals, which are probably one of the worst teams this year. Hell, you could take the Carolina Panthers, which are definitely the record-wise the worst team this year.
Not the Carolina Panthers with number 1 draft pick Bryce Young.
You could take them and let them play any of those XFL, USFL teams, and they're going to stomp them. By NFL rules, the worst NFL team will still stomp a non-pro team.
I guess that's fair because in those football clubs overseas, they all play by the same standards. NFL rules are obviously different than the XFL/USFL. So I kind of see where you're going with that, but I would still love to see there be some type of midway point for those guys who are moving over into the XFL, again, for it to become some type of farm system for the NFL.
Well, I think it will be a farm system. Like, which one does The Rock own? And
the XFL. Well, it's all one thing now. But he owned the XFL. Yeah. They had a really good season last year.
Like, a lot of their guys got signed to either active or practice squads this year. So, like, it was like a big bump in the last few years.
Yeah, and they always sign those guys to 1-year contracts because if they're successful, then it gives them the opportunity to either declare for the draft or to get signed by a team as a free agent.
Yeah, I think like the NFL's already partnered with that league saying, hey, we're going to try out certain rules in your league. Like, they've already made that agreement. So
I love the replay system that the XFL has because they do it in real time. They're sitting there talking to you why it is a penalty or why it's not. It's great, and I can't wait for the NFL to adopt something similar.
Well, that's fast as shit. There's some dude sitting up there with an Xbox controller. All right, his foot was out of bounds. Roll it. Call it back to whatever. 2nd and 10, whatever. Like, no, it's super fast.
Yeah.
Like, but the problem with the NFL is we have a bunch of old people running the referees, and look at the Thursday night game. How many penalties were on Thursday night? I can't count that high. The game was awful. There was 7 penalties with 10 seconds left. There was 3 touchdowns called now. Like, it was just awful.
It wasn't as bad as the hockey game, and I wish I knew who was playing. Everybody on both sides.
That was fantastic.
All 10, actually, technically, if they said everybody on the ice, all 12 players were given 10 minutes for, what was it, unsportsmanlike conduct or roughing or something
where they
like
all beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah, it was basically just benches cleared and everything. And it was fantastic just seeing everything that was going on with that. But again, hockey's a totally different sport. But yeah, it just kind of reminded me of that.
But it's super rare that like everybody fights.
Oh yeah.
Like,
and unless it's like minor league hockey, if we go watch the Thunderbolts or something, then like everybody throws down. But
yeah, but like professional hockey, it's like you'll get one or two, like you'll get a couple guys fighting each other throughout the night, but it's very rare you get the whole team involved.
I miss hockey from the 90s, dude. I don't know if you remember, but that was the enforcer era. And dude, benches cleared out every fucking game and it was fantastic. And that's when I fell in love with hockey, whenever they started all that jazz. And I wish that hockey was that interesting today.
It's just more skill. You can't pay the enforcer anymore. Anyway, now that you found out who the Valley is.
Yeah, let's move on to basketball. We're going to talk about the in-season tournament for the NBA. So in the first quarterfinal, we've got the LA Lakers versus the Phoenix Suns.
Well, that makes more sense who the Valley is.
Yeah.
Phoenix Suns take it. Actually, I have not watched any NBA this year, so
I haven't
no
either. I've kind of kept up with the Pacers a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, Halliburton's playing great.
Yeah. Yeah, the Pacers are freaking doing really good this year. So in the next game, we have the Sacramento Kings versus the New Orleans Pelicans.
I'm taking Zion. He's healthy.
As long as I was going to say, as long as he stays healthy, I agree with you on that.
He's doing great. Dominating this year so far.
And then in the East, we've got the Bucks versus the Knicks. I kind of think I go with Bucks on that one. Yeah.
Don't change your opinion because my opinion's that you were going the other way. I could see it.
No, I don't know a lot of professional basketball players, but isn't Giannis on the Bucks?
Giannis.
Isn't Giannis on the Bucks?
Yes.
Okay. I feel smart, guys. All right. And then in the last quarterfinal game, we've got the Pacers versus the Celtics. I would love to see the Pacers win that.
That's an uphill battle, though.
It is. I mean, they're seeded number 2. I don't put a lot of, weight in that for this in-season tournament. But I would love to see the Pacers at least advance. I think since Reggie Miller left the team, the Pacers have not really been as exciting to watch. And I would arguably say that this year they have been more than adequate to watch. I'll just put it like that.
Oh yeah, they've been doing great this year so far.
So we're going to move on to college football, so this current event's going to kind of tie into our topic for the day with all of the championships that are being played tonight when we're recording this on Friday and tomorrow, Saturday. So when you guys are listening to this on Monday, this is already said and done with. The bowl selection is already done. But I still think it makes for great content. So we're going to talk about it. Who we got playing?
Oregon and Washington currently in the fourth quarter. Oregon's losing 24-27.
Ooh, go Huskies.
Might be 28. They might have just kicked a field goal. I'm not sure. I hadn't updated.
And then we've got New Mexico State versus Liberty.
Who cares?
So what's the current score on that game?
Finals, Liberty 49, New Mexico State 35. Damn! The only game that matters, Georgia, Alabama. Who's winning?
Okay, so we'll get to that.
The only game that matters.
The only game that matters. We'll get to that. We're going to make it. We're going to say the best for last because the SEC is the best. So tomorrow we've got Big 12 championship, number 8 Oklahoma State versus number 7 Texas. Who do you think is going to take that?
Texas.
No argument there. The MAC, the Mid-American Conference, we got Miami, Ohio versus the Toledo. What is it? The Toledo Mud Hens? No, that's their minor league baseball team. I forget. The Toledosans.
The Toledo.
Yeah, that's not accurate, but that's what I'm going to call them right now to save face. I'm going to go with Miami, Ohio on this one. They're both not ranked, but I feel like Miami, Ohio has played a better season this year than Toledo. So blindly, and we'll find out, once this podcast actually airs on Tuesday, if I was correct. So let's move on to the Mountain West Championship. You've got Boise State versus UNLV.
Do they play this weekend? I'm looking at my ESPN app. I'm not seeing any of these games.
This is the bowl schedule, or not the bowl schedule, the championship schedule pulled directly from ESPN.
Just saying, I'm on there.
Are you sorting that by top 25?
I'm sorting it by week 14, November 27th through December 3rd. And that's all I got.
Well, anyways, we have Boise State versus UNLV.
No idea.
I always root for Boise State anytime they're playing somebody that I have no fucking clue what their record is.
All right, UNLV it is.
All right, we're going to skip over this next one because it's the best for last. The AAC Championship, which you were talking about earlier, SMU versus number 22, Tulane. I'm going Tulane because they really impressed me last year with everything they did. Obviously, they're doing great again this year. They're ranked number 22. I'm going to go Tulane. I'm going to ride the wave on that one.
I'm going SMU.
Okay. So you're basically just going to do everything opposite of what I say.
No.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I think most of the money's on SMU though.
Okay. Sunbelt Championship, Appalachian State versus Troy. I'm going to take Troy on that one. Troy's had a really good year.
Once again, since I don't know anything about either of these schools, Appalachian State, just because I want to be opposite.
Okay. Big Ten Championship, number 2, Michigan. Yes, absolutely. Versus number 16, Iowa.
Well, considering Iowa can't move the ball on offense at all, their defense is good, but Michigan's defense and offense is really good.
Yes.
So,
and Jim Harbaugh is coming back. He's going to be on the sideline for this game. So what
about Connor Stallions?
Connor Stallions?
Be there?
No, he's probably hiding in a spider hole somewhere.
I thought he was going to be on their sideline stealing signals.
All right. ACC Championship, number 14, Louisville versus number 4, Florida State. I'm going Florida State.
I hope Louisville. And it's all because Florida State's playing with their backup quarterback, their starters out. And if they win, then it causes a giant argument if they deserve to be in the 14 playoff. Next year, I'm so glad it's going to the 12 team because then you earn your way in.
Yeah.
This year, it's decided by some committee. And I don't think it should be who deserves to be in. I think it's who the best teams are. Correct. I don't care if you're undefeated if you didn't play anybody.
Yeah, if you had an easy schedule, there's no reason that you should be. Which is why JMU, it's such a big thing that they're not getting into any bowls because they played their hearts out and they had a pretty tough schedule.
Yeah, they had a tough schedule and they still didn't get a bowl. Like I would be okay putting them in over either of those teams. I hope Louisville wins the game just to like knock down Florida State because they're playing with their backup quarterback anyway. They possibly deserve to be in if they win. I just don't want them to be in that put in that position.
I'm going to go with Florida State. I'm just not a big Louisville fan. Obviously, I'm a Coach Brom fan. I was sad when he went to Louisville. He obviously coached for Purdue. Wasn't really a big fan of him when he coached for Purdue. But before that, he coached for my alma mater, the Western Kentucky University Hilltoppers. Go Big Red. The game that should honestly just be the national championship, the SEC championship, number 1 Georgia versus number 8 Alabama. I'm going with Georgia. I think they have the better offensive line. I think they got the better defense, and I think that they're just built better for that game.
Yeah, I'm barely leaning Georgia.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Nick Saban's going to do a great job.
Well, there's 2 things I like on Georgia better than what I like on Alabama. And I like their quarterback, Carson Beck, just slightly better than I like Milroe.
And I love their tight end.
And Brock Bowers is a freaking stud.
He's an animal, dude.
He's 6'4", 240, allegedly. I think he's bigger than that. He looks bigger than that. He's going to be a top 10 pick if he goes for the draft next year.
Oh, 100%. I have no reason to believe that he's not actually. I wouldn't be honestly surprised if he doesn't go earlier now that you're starting to see more and more NFL teams utilize their tight ends.
Yeah, well, when you have Travis Kelce's out there doing Travis Kelce routes, they all want that.
Yeah.
I think Alabama has a good team. Wouldn't be surprised if they won either. It's Saban.
Again, would not be surprised. Same.
It's Coach Saban. He is the greatest of all time college football coach ever.
Yes.
So wouldn't be surprised. They've been playing really good. I just slightly lean towards Georgia because I think if you compare offensive lines, I think they're pretty much, you could switch one out for the other and it'd be almost the same.
I think Georgia's offensive line just has a little bit more cohesion. And I think that in a game like this, that extra cohesion matters.
We'll see. I don't know.
I just think they're more in sync.
I don't think you're wrong though that should be just the national championship, and let's just go about it.
Yeah.
Let's
call it what it is.
I think Michigan would be an interesting way to get into.
Oh yeah, for sure. So now that we're talking about the national championships, we're going into bowl season not long after that. Basically in a world where everybody gets a participation trophy and we call it a bowl. We have 43 total bowl games this year. 40 of those being just regular bowl games. They're not advancement games or anything for the CFP. 2 CFP semifinals on New Year's Day, those being the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. And then you have the CFP championship.
Yeah. So we have 3 games that actually matter.
We have 3 games that actually matter. 2 games are semifinals and then the championship. Obviously, those have not been decided yet. Those are going to go at Selection Sunday tomorrow. We'll get into that in a minute. But we're going to play a game. I told you that we were going to play a game on this episode. I've been working on this all week. You better put your phone down.
Are you going to ask me? I feel like with the name, you're going to ask me, is this a bowl or not?
Correct.
Like out of the names?
Correct. So for those who are listening to our audio podcast and not watching this on YouTube, where we actually, sometimes throw stuff up on the slides, we're going to play the first ever Rarely Sophisticated podcast, Bowl or No Bowl. And so I've got an easy one for you. Okay, we're going to start it off with an easy one. It's kind of a practice thing. So I'm going to throw something like this up on the screen, and it's the Rose Bowl game.
No bowl.
Well, you're already off to a bad start. So
everybody knows the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, everybody knows the Rose Bowl. That's why I put it up there first. It's an easy one. So yes, it is a real bowl.
Yay.
All right. So now you're actually going to be judged moving forward. I think I've got 10 or 11, 12, something like that.
Okay, so question. While you were making this, how many did you get right? Like, when you saw the names, were you like, that's a fucking bowl game?
So some of these I made up on my own. All right, and in all transparency, the bowl games that are not real bowl games, I designed those logos myself. And made them look like real bowl game logos.
You put way too much time into this.
Did, but it was so fun doing it. So it may look like it's an actual bowl, but it might not be. And it may sound like it's an actual bowl, but it may not be. I didn't do anything to change the name of the bowl or anything like that. So, I'm not going to try to trick you and throw up a Rose Bowl graphic and then change the name Rose Bowl to Toilet Bowl or whatever. And you'd be like, oh yeah, no, that's not a real bowl. You'll see here in just a second, okay? So again, starting you off with an easy one. The Chipotle Burrito Bowl.
That's a real bowl.
No. That is a fake
I really
bowl.
like that bowl name. I would go watch it.
It's fake. The Duncan Constitution Bowl.
I feel like that's an obscure, stupid name. So that's definitely a real bowl.
No, it's also fake.
Oh, I was just going by the dumb name of it. I'm like, that's for sure going to be somehow real because somebody thinks that's a good name.
Yeah, I honestly just threw some shit together. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
No idea. Probably real. I'm just going to go real on most
of them. It's a real bowl. It's a real bowl. The Myrtle Beach Bowl.
That's real.
It's real. The Buc-ee's Lone Star Bowl.
Fake.
Okay, yep, it's fake. I was trying to do my best straight face.
You have a terrible poker face, so I just got to read you for the rest of them.
But does that not look legit?
I've never heard of a Buc-ee's bowl, so...
No, but you've heard of their fucking brisket. That shit's good. Yeah, it's fake. The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Real.
Yes. Yep, it's real.
You have so many tells. You should never play poker.
Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't. But I play the shit out of Cards Against Humanity. The LA Bowl, hosted by Gronk.
Fake.
Nope. Gronk says that shit's real.
but it's fake.
no, he actually has like a WWE belt that he hands out to the winner.
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
fucking phenomenal. The Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Real.
It's real. The Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl.
Fake.
No, it's real.
How is that a real one?
It's a real bowl.
Why are we... These are like the participation games that nobody knows.
We can get into that, but I just want to have some fun. I just want to have some fun with it for a second. The Pepperidge Farm Remembrance Bowl.
Fake.
It is fake, but Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Real.
The Daytona Beach Bowl.
Real.
All right. It's fake.
I just like Daytona Beach.
Yeah. Presented by Coppertone. Not a sponsor of this podcast. All right. So I told you I was going to keep score. I fucking lied. I couldn't keep track of that shit. But essentially, I feel like we have way too many bowls and they don't mean shit. There's really no benefit to winning them other than just personal glorification.
Once again, any of those could have been real. Like all the stupid, obscure ones. I'm like, oh, for sure, that's some kind of stupid bowl nobody's heard about, except some nobody college that actually plays in it.
Yeah, I remember when. So I would argue that bowls kind of meant a little bit more when they just said the number 1 and number 2 are playing in the Rose Bowl. The number 3 and the number 4 are playing in the Sugar Bowl. I felt like before they got into this 4-team playoff, that those bowls meant a little bit more because the Rose Bowl was kind of the pseudo national championship. Now that you have the CFP, which is moving in the right direction, but I just think that with the 4-team playoff structure that they have, it makes the other 40 bowl games that they have out there just completely worthless.
Most of the other bowl games are completely worthless.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But now you've potentially just have filler. And I don't think that necessarily promotes good college football.
College football's not that good anyway.
There's some college football that's good. Some.
Yeah, when you're talking about Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State.
Okay, and outside of those 4, really and truthfully, it could be a toss-up as to who else is in the top 25 that year.
I mean, Colorado's coming.
They are coming.
But other than those 4.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember.
Who do you like to watch?
USC used to be a name you would see very like often, and they're not up there. UCLA was kind of a name that you would see often, and they're not up there. Now you've just kind of got those 4 schools, and they're kind of all hanging around.
Didn't UCLA have Caleb Williams this year? Isn't that where he goes?
I think so, but again,
they sucked.
They're not a huge name. Not right now.
They were when Pete Carroll coached.
Absolutely, but I'm saying they're not that school anymore. Now you're starting to see Tennessee football kind of come back up on the rise where it was back in the, I would say, Peyton Manning era. After Peyton Manning, Tennessee football didn't really amount to crap. Kentucky football is kind of coming back on the rise. You saw that last year with Will Levis. You're seeing a lot of schools that kind of ebb and flow, but the 4 teams that you've already mentioned are always going to be like your staples. It used to be like your Florida was always up there, and then your USC and your UCLAs, and those teams have like trickled down. So,
well, other than those 4, you have LSU,
yes,
Texas A&M,
Clemson, Auburn.
Like you have schools that are fun to watch because they're like a knockoff NFL team. They're not an NFL team by far links and.
Oh yeah, leaps and bounds. They're far from being
not
the
NFL. Like the worst NFL team could destroy the best college team. But those have NFL talent on them sprinkled throughout. So they're fun to watch.
Yes.
I mean, look at the Eagles defense. It's the Georgia Eagles. They have Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and like two linebackers that all were in Georgia the last 3 years.
Didn't Jalen Carter come from Georgia?
Yes.
Okay. What are your predictions for the CFP this year? I know that there's still a lot of what ifs with the college championships and the fact that those games are actually counting towards the overall, assessments for which teams are going to actually make the CFP. But if we were to look at it right now, you would have number 1 Georgia playing number 4 Florida State. This is obviously tentative to change this weekend after everybody
God, I hope
plays.
so. That'd be the worst bowl game to watch ever.
It would be like last year when it was Tulane versus Georgia? No. It was Ohio State versus Georgia and Michigan versus Tulane.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Tulane.
It was
the
TCU.
TCU, yes.
Close. So if it ends up like that, I'm not going to watch any of them.
I would maybe watch Michigan versus Washington and then watch whoever goes to the national championship. But I agree. I think Georgia versus Florida State, Georgia blows them out of the water. I would much rather see Ohio State actually come back in and play. It's not going to happen because obviously Michigan beat them, so they don't have a perfect record. But again, this is where I would argue that the 12-man playoff is hopefully going to make things better because you're going to have.
So think about that, though. Let's say we were in the 12-man playoff this year.
Okay.
And Ohio State did make it in because they only have one loss.
Correct.
So then Michigan plays them the last regular season game of the year.
Correct.
Then plays them for the Big Ten championship the week after.
Correct.
And then plays them in the college football bowl game. 3 weeks in a row, you could see the same team.
Potentially, yes, you could. But I would imagine that depending on the results.
Whoa. You're thinking way too highly of the NCAA.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of old, decrepit white dudes who are making decisions for everybody. But I would say that in that situation, you take the regular season and then you take the championship game and you look at it. And if both teams traded victories on that, I would give more weight to the championship game and see that team higher. But if Michigan won both of those games, and obviously Ohio State's going to be at the fucking dog shit. So, no, I can't wait for next year. I can't wait for the 12-team playoff. I think that it's going to make things a lot more interesting. And then if I do my math correctly, that means that we would have 3 weeks of college playoff football. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
So kind of closer to what they're doing in the NFL when it comes to playoff football. So hopefully it'll be a lot more enjoyable. We'll see a lot more games that actually matter instead of number 1 Georgia versus number 4 Florida State.
Yeah, I don't know. I think win or lose, I think Georgia deserves to be in. Florida State, definitely not. I just think it'd be a boring team to watch. I think they're going to get I hope they lose this weekend just so it's not even a decision because they're undefeated. It's not the most deserving teams, it's the best. Or that's how it should be anyway.
Okay. So, I mean, you've got your Oregon Ducks, which what's the score of that game right now?
They're losing to Washington with 2 minutes and 14 seconds left, 24-34. So they'll drop in ranking.
They'll drop in their ranking. Ohio State's not playing a game this year, so unless Michigan loses in the Big Ten championship, I don't see Ohio State encroaching it because you're looking at Oregon and Washington at 3 and 5, so one of those teams is going to get shot up into, I would say, playoff contention. The other team obviously is going to get sent off to the fucking Chipotle Burrito Bowl. I would say Michigan has to lose for Ohio State to even have a chance to make it in.
I don't disagree, but I don't see that happening.
I don't either. And Florida State is playing whom? I know we already talked about it. They're playing Louisville. And again, I think that Florida State's going to win over Louisville. But if Louisville wins, I mean, they knock Florida State out. So again, we're playing toss up here as to who's actually going to make it in. I still say Georgia's got the best chance out of anybody, followed by Michigan, and then after that, it's a complete toss up. Washington or Oregon could possibly make it in, depending on how today's game goes. Looks like Washington's going to win, so that means Washington's probably going to get booted up in there. And I think it would be somewhat symbolic because it's Pac-12, and this is the last year of the Pac-12.
Well, and once again, nobody knows what they'll decide on Sunday. So
correct.
All this stuff doesn't really matter. They're going to do whatever they want anyway for the last 14 playoffs. So It doesn't matter. I see the SEC is going to be in there somehow. It's going to either be Georgia or Alabama, depending on how this game goes this weekend. And then Michigan, they would have to lose for Ohio State to even get considered. And I don't see them losing just because Iowa has a good defense.
Right. So talking about the 12-team playoff, how do you think that they should structure that in regards to who makes that playoff? Obviously, you're probably going to put your top 4 in there, but then who fills the other 8 slots?
The best teams. Don't care about your record. I think it should matter on strength of opponent. Yeah, I mean, look at what the NFL does. Kind of. It's not, I mean, there's only 32 teams. I get it. There's how many colleges? There's a ton.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then you have Division 1, Division 2 and all that jazz, but Division 1 talking about college football playoffs.
But I mean, like in the NFL it goes by your in division record, and then it goes by like strength of schedule, all like if the Eagles beat the Cowboys, they tied the series 1-1, and then they go to strength of schedule because they don't have a tiebreaker.
Which, again, the Cowboys being in the fucking NFC East is just mind-boggling to me, but whatever.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it should go off strength of schedule. Hell, the eye test is a better... Like, JMU deserved it this year. They passed the eye test this year. They looked good. They played a tough schedule, and they look good just because some ancient rule, I guess would be a good word.
Old, decrepit white dudes.
Hey, NCAA has new leadership. We'll see. He could still be terrible, and then we can dump on the NCAA again. They've been terrible to this point. It's not the same as the NFL just because how many colleges there are, but it should go straight to schedule, the eye test. Like, if you dominate who you should dominate, because every college has, this is a homecoming game. We're going to send Mississippi State down to Georgia for Georgia's homecoming game, and Georgia's just going to go 48-0 on them because it's homecoming.
Yeah, they're going to send Bobby Boucher and the South Louisiana Bulldogs.
Here's my question. This has nothing to do with the 12-team playoffs.
Okay.
Why the hell doesn't Georgia and Alabama play every year except in the SEC, like the playoffs?
The SEC is so messed up because I think you've got 14 teams starting next year. So I think it's 12 teams now. I think with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas next year, it'll get strengthened to 14. You would think that every SEC team would play another SEC team, but with the whole divisions and how you have to play so many like East versus West games and stuff like that, you would think that they would figure some way out to make everybody play everybody, but it doesn't work that way.
Because they clearly know they're each other. Both of them have been powerhouses up to this point. Georgia's always been good. Last couple of years, they've been better than Alabama. But
whoa. I mean, I agree with you, but
we back-to-back national championships
out there.
Doesn't matter. Back-to-back national championships. Where's he? Nobody knows.
Ghost in the wind, motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but like, I'm just saying, like, why don't they play each other? Michigan and Ohio State play every year. Nope, don't care. There's no excuse why they don't play every year.
Just listen to me, goddammit.
Other than they're pussies and they don't want to play each other.
Just listen to me.
What if they knock me out of playoff contention? Who cares?
Yeah, no,
play the best teams to earn your way.
That's titty baby shit. I'm talking about with the Pac-12 being dissolved, and now you're going to see now it's Pac-2. I don't see it being so outlandish to say SEC. We have 14 weeks of football. You have 14 teams, or we have 13 weeks of football. There's 14 teams. Theoretically, each team should be able to play each other at least once for the whole 13-week schedule. ACC, you're going to have 14 teams. You're each going to play each other once. Doing it that way to where now you've actually got a conference-centric like system Go ahead.
Too much. I mean, once again, NFL doesn't do that. The AFC just doesn't play the AFC. The NFC just doesn't play the NFC. You got to have some mixing in there. Some like you got to change it up a little bit. That's not the perfect system. Just y'all play each other, and then we'll figure it out at the national championship.
So then, do you say you have to play at least half of your season has to be against opponents in your conference, and then you have to play everybody in your division at least twice?
That's basically the same thing. If you're playing everybody in your division
yeah, I guess
twice,
that's true.
That's the exact same thing as you said.
But
before.
you get what I'm trying to say. Like, make it to where you're playing more people in your conference, and then you're allotted X amount of intra conference or extra conference games, or however you want to fucking say it.
I just think there are certain teams that should play each other every year, regardless of what conference you're in, where you're located. Period. Alabama and Georgia, not that far from each other.
I think Tuscaloosa is like an hour and a half from,
and they're both powerhouses.
Yeah, University of Georgia is what? Athens, Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, Michigan and Ohio State play every year. Oregon always gets thrown into some of these schedules all the time, like, and that's way the hell out there in the middle of nowhere on the West Coast. So I'm just saying, like, a couple hours from each other total, maybe. Why aren't we playing each other every year? You're both phenomenal.
Right. It's not like the University of Kentucky, who is at the very tip of the SEC, who always seems to play Florida twice a year.
Yeah.
Right. You've got Alabama and Georgia, who are literally butt buddies.
I'm just saying, why do we only get to see that during like this time of year? We get to see it once.
Yeah, I mean, I do see the luster of it all in that, playoff football is arguably the best football. But I would still like to see it in the regular season. I'm with you on that.
I mean, look at what we just saw in the NFL. We just saw the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl rematch from last year.
Yes.
20-something million viewers to watch that game. Mid-season.
Yeah, it was a highlight game.
Chiefs haven't looked the best this year so far. Their defense is phenomenal.
Yes.
Offense starting to click, maybe. They looked great last week.
Rashee Rice is coming into his position.
So glad I got him on my fantasy team.
Yeah, fuck you.
Thanks for dropping him. But I'm just saying, like, everybody wants to see that matchup, regardless when it is in the year, because it's
the big money game.
They're the two best teams of last year. And arguably, you could say the Eagles are one of the best teams this year because they're 10-1. I mean, they're not winning pretty, but they're winning. That's all that matters.
Right.
So, same thing with Alabama, Georgia. This year, they both kind of had to revamp their quarterbacks, got new quarterbacks, all this stuff. Didn't really know their identity at the start of the year, but here they are.
Get the fuck out, and
here they are. Georgia's not lost the game. Alabama's lost one to Texas. Why don't they play each other? Still two of the best teams in college football.
Agreed.
Should play each other every year. Like especially if they're in the same conference. Like once again, the whole Michigan, Ohio State, they make it a priority to play each other every year, no matter what. So, I don't know. It's just, I guess that irritates me about college athletics is why they don't play each other every year, because it's the money game, it's the big game, it's the one everybody waits till the football playoffs to see. Why don't we get to see it more often? It's like the two schools are too afraid to play each other in the regular season just due to the fact that they might not make the college football playoffs, which is completely eliminated after this year because now there's 12-team playoffs. You can lose a game and still make the playoffs.
So the last time that Alabama and Georgia played in a regular season game was October 17th, 2020, and Alabama won that game 41-24.
So the time before that, how many years?
Oh,
'Cause
shit.
we don't get regular season games.
October.
Does that say 2015?
Yeah, October of 2015. October 3rd.
5 years. They don't play each other in regular seasons except what? Every 5 years? There's a
no, motherfucker. Look
2008.
Look beyond that.
2007. They used to play each other.
Well, no, that was a fluke. That was a back-to-back year, and then before that, it was 2003. So I mean,
but 2003, 2002, they played back-to-back years. Then it's like a 10-year difference. 94, 95, they wait almost 10 years.
It's like a goddamn solar eclipse.
They wait almost 10 years, play another back-to-back years, wait another 10 years, play another. Like, why? Why are they so afraid to play the best teams in college football?
I would argue that it would be phenomenal to see that as like, I would call it like a mini championship game, right? You would watch it in the middle, just like the Eagles and the Chiefs, watch it in the middle of the season. It'd be a great boost to viewer ratings. I mean,
just like any Super Bowl rematch from any year ever. The Super Bowl team typically, it seems like they almost always play the other team they played in the Super Bowl the year before the next year. It seems like that. Now, I could be completely off.
Yeah, I used to have, and I don't think it played out this way this year, but I used to have this weird like thought that whoever played in the Super Bowl in the year previous were the opening act for the Hall of Fame game. But I don't think that's true. I think I made that up in my head.
No, they're the first regular season game.
Are they?
The Super Bowl winners are the first regular season game every year. So the Chiefs played the Lions on Thursday Night Football. They opened the season.
Okay, but it's not the two teams that played. It's just the winner.
The winner is the season opener.
Right. Hell yeah.
No, you said Hall of Fame game, which is a game in the preseason that doesn't matter.
Womp womp.
They just need to make the Hall of Fame game like flag football. Like, nobody wants to play in it.
Well, I mean, that's what they're doing with the Pro Bowl, and we'll have a Pro Bowl episode.
I like the Pro Bowl.
I like the way that they did it last year. I thought it made it more fun.
Some of the games, maybe not.
I just like watching the competitions. The flag football game was fun to watch. It was a lot more enjoyable to watch than what they've done in previous years. But I always just love the competitions. It's like...
And give me all the Peyton Manning and Eli Manning coaches you can give me.
Oh, absolutely.
Mic them dudes up, put them on a sideline. It'll be great. Because I love watching Monday Night Manning, the Manning cast. Like, phenomenal. They're hilarious.
I don't want to talk about it too much because I do think we should do a Pro Bowl episode, but my favorite thing with the competitions is that it's like when you're playing a superstar mode in Madden and you're doing all like the little practice sessions, it makes it feel like you're playing real life Madden. But again, don't want to talk about it too much. We will have a Pro Bowl episode. Promise you guys. But going back to college football, I'm excited to see what we're going to see next year with the 12-team playoff.
Can't be worse than the 14 playoff. This has been awful. And what idiot decided, hey, let's only put 4 teams in the playoffs?
Oh, because that sounds like a great idea.
Like, and it took till 2023 to decide maybe we should change it. Not this year, though. Next year. So anyway, what are we talking about?
I don't have anything else. I mean, that's...
See, you let me go on my tangents, and I just go completely left field.
You did, but you know what? I think we're starting to kind of get into our voice. We're finding our voice a little bit with the podcast.
I lost my voice?
No.
God damn it.
I'm just saying, if you notice, we don't rely so much on like the scripts.
Whoa. Let's be clear. Who relies on scripts here?
Me.
Who can sit over here and watch TikTok or scroll Twitter or anything and do 7 different things other than focus on what I'm supposed to be talking about?
Right, but you still need to be steered in the right direction every now and then. That's my job.
I need a guide, but then...
Hi, my name is Russell, and I'm a wilderness scout, and I'm here...
That's 100% what I need. I need a GPS. I might take a couple detours, but we're going to get to the fucking destination somewhere. We might go 7 hours out of our way to get there. We might take the scenic route.
Oh, God. It reminds me of that
camping.
episode. It reminds me of that episode of The Office where Michael's following his GPS and it's like, turn right now. And he's like, okay. And he drives right into a lake with like a fucking dumbass.
Absolutely. We might do it. We don't know. But
it'll be fun.
I will get there eventually. I just need steered in the right. Like, I just need that. But who is the one here that needs the layouts and all the work you do just so you have, and who steals somebody else's takes? I'm just saying.
It's not John Carter. It might be John Carter.
Who educated somebody about the IR this morning or this afternoon and was like,
get your time right, motherfucker.
This day. And then somebody acts like he knew it the whole time and asked me questions about it like I'm the dipshit.
Thanks for your help, Daddy.
I'm just saying, do better.
Hey, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's only episode 9. And we have advanced to not relying so much on scripts and more of just like topics.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm just still concerned because it took you way too long to look up when the last time Alabama and Georgia played each other in a SEC.
Hey, we don't have a Jamie here. We don't have somebody that we can just task and then they pull it up on our screens for us.
You got a Siri.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to Siri. She's a bitch. Go ahead and say it.
Nope, not on this.
Love you, babe. All right, that's going to do it for this podcast. If you like what you hear, make sure to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Instagram, and you can check out the special YouTube episode with the slides that I showed Ryan. You can follow us there at Rarely Sophisticated. You can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at RSPodcastX. Make sure to send us your questions and episode ideas to rareillysophisticated@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you guys. We also have a Discord set up. We will put a QR link at the end of the YouTube episode. If you would like to join us on our new Discord, you could talk about sports, off-topic things, but it really helps us to figure out what you guys want to listen to when it comes to the podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your podcast. And make sure to join us next Tuesday for more Rarely Sophisticated. That's all I got. Peace.
Daddy, you're silly.